My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and we've done this before today.
We have, but I want to reach out and go, howdy, because we've got American listeners apparently.
We do, and we've also got...
Yeehaw!
We've also got Norwegian fans, so...
Hello in Norwegian.
Alexander Ryback to you all. And Dutch people. Their address, the Netherlands.
Hello in Dutch.
This is dizzy stuff, folks.
Which I believe is like hello. Is my Dutch accent.
So anyway, welcome to Play-Doh Week.
No, I thought it was labiaplasty for teenagers a shit week.
It might be that. It could be Gantry Week.
Could be 50% off carpets week.
There's never been a better time to think about Carpets Week. So
Masterchef is closing down week.
So let me just hang on a minute. Apparently it's Royal Week.
What?
Did you know?
No.
No, because neither did I. Because tonight's challenge reflected so much on royalty, as did last night's challenge, which reflected so strongly on royalty. Why are we bothering with theme weeks?
Is this because, like, the Prince of Brunei, only likes meals cooked in 10 minutes?
Possibly. It could be because if you don't get the king's dish ready in 10 minutes in the olden days, you'd have your head cut off.
Well, okay. Maybe he gave out immunity pins?
It's very rare they gave out immunity pins. It's usually the opposite from a lot of royalty.
Off with their head.
Look, there's not a lot of ranty stuff coming tonight for those listening in for that, so sorry.
No, there'll be a bit.
There will be a little bit at the end, but, like, theme weeks, why are we bothering? It's Ginger Week. That's it.
Ginger Week.
It's Ginger Week.
I don't know if I can say that, though.
I can.
Only a ginger.
I can say it. Ginger Week. Robert Harwood can say it. Ginger Week. That's it. We're the only ones. No one else. All right. So anyway, let's get into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So
it was last night.
Let's.
Which was surprising because we had fair judging for the first time in quite a while. We
did, but we had an interesting start to proceedings.
Yes.
There was a very sort of interesting start to the proceedings overall.
How so?
Well, we looked at the idea of who could possibly go home.
Yes.
And it was one of those ones where we sort of went into it going, well, it could be Jess.
Everyone's going, fucking Chloe, send Chloe home!
Yeah, like, could be Jess. There were lots of people yelling about Chloe. And I was like, Sarah's been sort of a bit up and down. It's been three people who have kind of been a bit all over the place. So it legitimately last night could have been anybody.
It could, but we know Chloe's strength is that she can follow a recipe and execute it beautifully, which she showed last night. She does have skills. Jess wasn't confident, but, she's got a bit of a background in, like Indonesian flavours and stuff, so there's a bit of, skills transfer there. Sarah's pretty good, but she's just not been consistent.
So, we had...
And I like Sarah.
I like Sarah, she's awesome.
I was missing from the cook last night, though. Carrots.
That was the problem.
No carrots. Her superpower's gone. She's like Popeye. She needs to pop a carrot.
Now, last night we had what I consider to be some very casual racism or racial profiling at the very least.
Oh, my God.
So, they're listing the achievements of the chef from last night, and, he's from Mumbai. Nobody in that kitchen had heard of him. And you could tell when Sarah sort of did her little bit to camera, she said absolutely nothing about him. She was like, I know that he's a really good chef and I know I've got my work cut out. And I'm like, that's the least you could possibly say.
This is what's annoying me, though, is that then they showed something that was genuine and really fucking interesting, and that was George in his kitchen, having a look around. Gary speaking about how it's like a little hole in the wall.
Talking about hole-in-the-wall places and those sorts of things, and it was really cool. But what do they do when the guy who makes curry walks in? Sashi. And again, they're like the idea, and they kept on cutting back like Sashi should know who he is. He's
Sashi's
not from Mumbai.
He's from fucking Singapore.
Right, so...
You may as well, for the Japanese dude, was Japanese, wasn't it, at the Barossa Valley? kept going to Jess or Khanh for, like, comment.
It's just...
Oh, my fucking God.
It was a bit ridiculous. And
White people. This is why we can't have anything fucking nice.
And the thing is that there was a lot of positive in his story, and like all the stuff there was really good, but they sort of took away from it by cutting directly to Sashi and going, "You make a lot of curries, you know him." No, because Mumbai, as we know, even if Sashi was from Mumbai, we know that
population of India?
We know that Mumbai it's over 1 billion people. We know that Mumbai is such a small city that everyone knows everyone.
It's like when I was in Ireland in 1996 and the kids there would go, "Oh, do you know my uncle in Perth?" It's like, no.
We're a big bloody country.
And a bit far away. Perth is not next door, you know?
A little bit far away. So you had to cook his butter chicken, which sounded perfect to me because I love a good butter chicken.
Oh. We were all just at that point going, my favourite dish. Yes, it's fucking amazing.
It looked really good.
Oh.
And then we got into the making of it. Now, we've said a lot about Chloe, and look, to be honest with you, we will continue to say a lot. But the one thing she can do is she follows, you give her a step-by-step recipe, and she follows.
Her reading comprehension, then cooking skills, on point.
Right, so the thing is that as long as Chloe if she keeps on going to elimination, which seems to be the trend, and that's not making fun of Chloe. If you go back through, I don't think anyone's done more elimination challenges now than Chloe.
No.
If it was a free creation challenge, she'd struggle. But the second that it is read a recipe, she can do a recipe.
Yeah.
And she nails those recipes. So the second they went, it was a read a recipe challenge, we were like, Chloe's fine.
Yep.
Not a problem. And she was. And that's probably one of the last times we're going to even mention Chloe in this episode because we don't need to. She blitzed it. They couldn't even vaguely pretend there was anything wrong with what she was doing. And they didn't try, which was good. It was nice. It was refreshing. However, poor Sarah. It all began when she forgot to take the skin off the chicken.
Yeah. Oh,
and then Jess had her first issue when they said to her about the fact that the gravy should be on. And she looked and went, "What?
Yeah.
What? What gravy? What gravy? What gravy?
What gravy?
The gravy, the butter chicken. Oh, the sauce. Oh. And it was at that point that I sort of realised that when Jess gets confused by something, she shuts down.
Yeah, it's like she needed a bit of Ashley from tonight, you know. The dude's so fucking zen in the kitchen. I thought he was going to, like, transcend to a higher plane, just start levitating.
And Jess and Sarah have had the same thing happen a few times now. Sarah's had the same thing happen where, you know, unfortunately she'll be going really well and something will happen that will puzzle her.
Yeah.
And while she's getting her bearings about her, it's like she powers down into safe mode while she works out what she needs to do and then powers back up again. The problem in the kitchen is that by the time you power back up again, your dish is potentially fucked. And unfortunately, when you're doing, I don't know, chicken on skewers with skin still on it on a hibachi,
you don't have a lot of time there.
Yeah, like the kitchen was in flame. It wasn't like the hibachi wasn't like slightly like the flames were crackling.
Snoop Dogg and Cheech and Chong had just come in for a little smoko.
It was the flames were so ridiculously big. And Sarah's just got her head down going, yeah, it's okay. And she's just focusing on the bench and you're like, everyone else around her is like, she... And it goes back to like earlier on, my favourite one of the tweets we put out last night was everyone in the gantry trying to work out with Sarah how to tell her that she'd left the skin on the chicken. And like, unlike normal, and we'll talk about the gantry a bit later on, where the gantry cannot help but scream at everybody at the top of their lungs, nobody on the gantry seemed to want to actually tell Sarah what was wrong. And they're like, I don't want to tell her. You want to tell her? I don't want to tell her. You want to tell her? And then all the gantry did was go, Sarah, read the recipe. And she just went, yeah.
Whatever.
I got it. It's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. This will not do it all. So...
I guess I'm presuming they're a little limited in what they can say and what they can't say. Like, you know...
I don't know. They don't seem to be.
No.
Like, how many times do they remind somebody that their dish isn't in a fridge? Or how many times do they remind someone that they've got to watch every element on the stove?
Yeah.
All the time. Or remember to put that in there. Or are you making sure you've got this cooking? So, like, they can tell them.
Yeah.
They do it all the time. Everyone was fine with letting it leave the chicken on. Skin on the chicken. Like, why was everyone deciding on that morning to go, you know what? Let's not tell her that her skin's on the chicken. And then when it started burning, like...
No, but do you think on the, like that morning, they're all sitting around breakfast and Sarah's like got a knife and she's like, if you fucking yell at me today,
she is the only person.
You.
She is the only person to tell the gantry to shut the fuck up.
And they're like, okay.
Maybe they just went, well, fine, be that way, see if we care.
Yeah.
But it's like, they didn't even care enough for their own safety to yell at her about the hibachi being on fire.
Yeah.
Like, it was on fire and there's smoke going everywhere and they're sort of going, Like, no one was even like, we need to protect ourselves, put the fire out. Everyone was just like, I'll see what happens here.
One thing to note, Masterchef doesn't have smoke alarms.
Apparently not. You would think that would be mandatory.
No, not Masterchef. I think one thing I did appreciate about last night was Saranch being so excited to be in the Masterchef kitchen.
He was thrilled.
He had a lot of cool energy. Like, it was, you can see it was kind of contained nerves, but contained excitement. And, yeah, you know, just wandering around. Like, he's like, oh, I'm the dude wandering around checking out what people are cooking. This is great.
Now, the one thing I couldn't be having, however, that he was doing, banana in the roti.
Oh, Chris. Oh, you and bananas. Oh, my God. We got to Coffs Harbour and, yeah, like, the big banana is a bit, like, disappointing.
I told you.
Yeah. It looked bigger when I was a kid, granted that. But the desserts, they had good banana stuff. Like, you expect to go somewhere, like, touristy and it's shit. No, they did good stuff. And you could have had, like, a choc dip banana. But you didn't want anything. What did you want? Coffee.
The coffee was great. And so was my cookies and cream ice cream that I had.
That's right. You had ice cream.
I went to the Big Banana and had a cookies and cream waffle cone. And I was so happy. And bought your mother a tea towel that was deliberately naff.
She loved it.
I know she did. She's treasuring it.
My mum is so cute. So, like, coming home, she lives between Sydney and the Hunter Valley. So we've gone to visit her. And she put, like, this full little spread up. And I thought it was all special. And she said, oh, these are leftovers from a party I had on the weekend. I'm like... My niece comes up here and you go out shopping specially for her.
We get leftovers.
We get leftovers.
And by the way, the rest of the leftovers went to the dog.
Oh, that's right. I was told the dog's on a diet, so the first thing I'm doing, like, you have a chip, Tiffany? Oh, no, it's not Tiffany. Or Minnie. Well, that's Mum's old dog is Tiffany. Sorry, Mum. She doesn't listen to this.
She doesn't listen to this anyway. No,
like,
but then...
How do I listen to your podcast? I'm never going to tell you.
How do you listen to the podcast? Osmosis.
Yeah.
One of these days it will just come to you. Until that point in time, you stay with it.
Just leave it.
So...
Back at the ranch.
It was kind of at that point where we needed to sort of admit that Jess and Chloe were killing it.
Yep.
And we freely admitted the fact that they were absolutely killing it. And it was early in the night that I tweeted, I don't think they're going to throw us a curveball.
No.
Sarah's done. It was about halfway through. It was just after she burnt the chicken.
Yeah.
Because the second she burnt the chicken, it was over. It was absolutely over. Now...
And look, Jess got two elements not quite right. You know, she forgot the burnt butter or the smoked butter. Like,
but to be fair, the chicken was smoked. It was on a hibachi, so, you know.
Yeah,
it was...
and the green stuff, what's it called? That was a little watery, but not really.
Leah also pointed something out. Jess learned from the night before, and we criticised her on Sunday night, if you remember. And I criticised her on Sunday night for not tasting on the way.
She tasted on the way.
She tasted once she thought the chicken was okay. She checked the flavour and texture of the chicken.
Yeah.
She actually learned. That's good. That shows development.
And like, yeah, when she stresses out, she loses it. But she was calmer last night than I've seen her in a while. Like, she was
for a
more
savoury
focused.
challenge, yes.
For a savoury challenge, she was more focused and more, determined, I think.
And so they tried to make a big deal out of the butter, and we sort of had a bit of it prompted a mini debate on Twitter with a lot of people telling me that I was an idiot for saying that Sarah was gone because clearly they were making a big deal about Jess and her butter. But the thing was...
editors cannot throw, something in there to add a bit of...
No, and
guessing. We've
said a few times that after a while you start picking up the edit points, and...
This is one of them.
You also learn that even in the most wild and wacky of series of judging, There are some truths that still hold, and if you burn the food, that holds. And so, yeah, Sarah was missing some elements, but the stuff that she had was... yes, Jess was missing some elements.
Yeah.
But the stuff she plated was cooked really well.
Yeah.
And Sarah had everything there.
And Sarah knew. She said, look, I'm worried about the burnt flavour is going to put a bitterness through the dish. And it did. And they also... And you could see it when it went onto the plate. The sauce wasn't as creamy and liquidy as the rest.
Did you notice, by the way, last night they changed up their strategy? They didn't bother to mention Chloe's children to her, but they did
to Sarah.
mention it to Sarah.
It's really frustrating.
They're waiting for people to be emotionally vulnerable and then hitting them with the children.
Yeah, it's like, we don't need this, you know.
It's emotional abuse.
It really is. It's like, we've all watched Unreal. We know this bullshit. We don't need it. Us, the viewing audience.
We don't need it. We don't want it.
We want it left aside. Just pop it aside, and then I'll just, be happier.
So it was 100% fair. Sarah went home. As much as we love Sarah, that was the right call.
Yeah.
Obviously, we lose not only Sarah, but we lose Neil and we lose Kim Spicer. And a couple of other people, all of whom have been accused in the last week of being fake Sarah on Twitter.
Now, this is a really long fucking game that Sarah's been playing. I think we've seen Neil on Twitter for at least the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Kim Spicer as well is a name that we're familiar with. So Sarah, you were confident.
Look, Sarah, the long game, playing the very, 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 very long game. I'm going to go on Masterchef in 3 to 4 years' time. I'm going to need to set up burner accounts to put me through. That's great. In an era before burner accounts were really a thing. So tonight.
Yes.
Tonight was the challenge for immunity. And
I thought it should have been like a battle to the death, like jousting, like food jousting, like baguettes.
I think they should all food joust with a MasterChef immunity pin. And whoever doesn't get destroyed by the sharp bit of the pin wins it.
Like, they could have had it so medieval. Like, you've got the gantry, which is perfect. Just have the chicks in the pointy hats and whoever else wants to be a princess. Have a few, like someone as a court jester.
Who would be your court jester?
I think Khan's pretty funny, but I'd really like to see George, because he's a bit of a fool.
Yeah, I would go the court jester in the traditional sense for George, not the way that we all view the court jester as somebody who was funny and made people laugh by jokes. The original court jester was put there to be an absolute dumbass, to be humiliated, as an example. So, in that respect, George is definitely our court jester.
But I'd have Matt as, like, the Sheriff of Nottingham character. Like, he could just, like, really, like, ham it up.
Oh, no, now all I'm seeing, though, is him as the Sheriff of Nottingham and Robin Hood, the Disney version.
Tracy Ullman.
The Disney version, which is my favourite version.
Oh, okay. I just am envisioning Men in Tights and then just Tracy Ullman. Tracy
Ullman and Matt.
Oh, Sheriff! I almost touched it.
Food envy is not something that is easier to fix than having tax envy. And also, he's preparing a drink for the big game. Whatever that game is. By the way, if you ever happen to hear this, Matt, feel free to tell us what the big game was. I am thoroughly confused. I'm going with croquet.
Bit of hurling.
Nothing like the Royal Tennis Association Gala. That's what this is. It's Royal Tennis Week.
Oh my gosh, it is too.
We've solved it. All right, so tonight was challenge where you had to be able to cook in a dish in 10 minutes.
That was fucking cool.
It was cool. It also made everyone who's ever been to university flash back and go, yeah, I got this.
Mee goreng.
I just wanted somebody to go and boil the kettle and make mee goreng. That would have been spectacular.
My introduction to mee goreng was by my mate Ra, who was hilarious. And he lived in a place where you could go and get, like, for $5 a box of 20. It was just pretty cool. And he's gone to me, he goes, you don't understand. These don't have one flavour sachet. There are 4 flavour sachets. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. He goes, and you don't have to have them all. You can mix and match. It's like you've got, like, different flavoured dinners every night.
tricks for young players out there. So we had a couple of dishes that were intriguing to me. We had 2 people make prawns, garlic prawns. Mm-hmm. Samira's looked amazing.
Oh, it was served with a poop shoot.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because you're 4 fucking trained chefs and none of you can just dig your thumb in and rip out a poop shoot.
Okay, so let's just break something down here. Not the prawns, by the way, and taking the poop shoot out. We're not breaking that down. We didn't have time. But let's break down the idea of the prawn poop shoot.
Yeah.
All right? It's grit.
It's grit and algae.
It's grit and algae. It's not human fecal matter. It's not even most animal fecal matter.
No.
It's grit. Yeah, it can then taste a little gritty, but George reacted like someone had put poison all over his plate and was trying to kill him. And you know what, Samira? You should have just gone ahead. Because it would have at least justified the reaction. And then you could have been like the guy in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You know, what would you like? What's that? The antidote for the poison you just drank. Yes, Mr. Columbaris. So that could have been fun, but unfortunately George just went, I'm scared of prawn poop. And so Samira was never going to win. Kristen, what was the excuse? Like, they came up with some beads on the mussels.
Oh, because we can't fucking eat around those. Oh, a customer just gets upset. Yeah, if they're going to a high-class restaurant where you're paying through the nose, even though you're not paying your fucking staff.
When was...
Okay. And you get a beard in your mussel, that's when you complain. If you said to your mate, look, we've only got 10 minutes before the game, I really want something nice. And they're going, don't worry, I'll do mussels, and you get a couple of beards. Are you fucking complaining?
When was the last time you walked out of a seafood restaurant because the prawns had a poop shoot in them or the mussels had a beard?
I thought so.
Exactly. So, like, it was kind of the height of pretentiousness.
I don't want my picture and my prawn.
So that took the 2 ladies out instantly.
Yeah, thank goodness, because we can't have a vagina with an immunity pin.
That would be horrible, wouldn't it? Don't know how we'll cope. So that left us with Khanh, and that left us with Brendan.
Yeah.
And
look, I'm not disappointed.
I was happy with Khanh. I thought that...
I love watching him cook. I like watching him dance. I like watching him call shit down from the gantry. I just like Khanh.
I had a bit of an issue with the way they judged Brendan because they are really pushing hard for him to go from eliminated to grand final. Yeah. They are pushing very hard for that. And it was only that Khanh served something that was so good that actually stopped them. Like the way they started talking about his prawns and like going, oh, you took so much care with these. He butterflied them.
Yeah, like, fuck. Okay, it was good thinking. He had very strong thinking of how to do it.
But yeah, it was just sort of like they treated his and Samira's dishes like they were from completely different planets.
Yeah,
and I'm like, they weren't from different planets. Like if you've got a preference, you say, look, I prefer that because there was no poop.
And when Samira made that call, there was a lot of pressure on her to get moving. You know, it's the ultimate boom boom shake the room.
Yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of boom boom shake the room.
Stop trying to make boom boom shake the room happen.
It won't happen. And you know what I hope does happen?
What?
I hope Will Smith sues.
Yes.
So
let's just keep tagging Will Smith in this.
Yeah, exactly. That would be really good. Hopefully that happens. The other thing we noticed tonight was there were a hell of a lot of ads.
Yep.
Which means it's a very short episode.
Yeah, just on the ads, right? They're doing the new Survivor promos. Now, there's one guy who said, my brain had to become a weapon. Now, I'm just envisioning this dude who has like a pop-open skull and like fucking fashioned his brain into ninja stars or something because...
I thought you were going to go with The Bachelor and go with the bloody honey badger. And I have never seen a promo turn more people off a TV show in my life than the honey badger promos for The Bachelor.
He's like the lecherous old uncle of the 70s and 80s, like reborn. Like, he's a very lad.
It's not encouraging people to watch The Bachelor.
No.
And there are lots of people I know who love The Bachelor.
And
I'm not one of them. I do not watch it at all.
And is that like a deliberate perm?
Oh, yes,
Because-
it's very deliberate. It was part of his marketing strategy.
Oh, God.
It's all part of his marketing. It's all his brand.
Oh.
His brand is perm. All right, so let's move on. So Khanh wins and then goes into the immunity challenge where we all please pretend to know.
Ashley from Copperpot.
Ashley was incredible. All right, so
Thank you, Ashley.
so first of all, or should I say first of all, because the tweets, they rivaled that British chef the other week. The number of people going, oh, he's a bit good. Kira will find herself once again on the story on Twitter.
Crawling towards the TV like it's a mirage in the desert. It was that thirsty.
Kira will find herself once again on the Twitter story and the Twitter mentions because every time a chef comes in and she puts out a thirst tweet, it ends up there.
Yeah.
Ashley, however, it turned out far more than a pretty face. He was not going to put up with your shit, Masterchef.
Here's someone who has had years of fucking experience.
Michelin stars,
fucking trained. Like, he's been there, he's done that, he's done the late nights, he's done everything, and he's got shitheads on the gantry condescendingly yelling out to him.
Tonight,
Now, people, you went too far, okay? Like, I'm all for a bit of helping them. Like, if they can't find something, I'm all for a bit of what are you doing there, learning from them. But now whether you're told by the producer to do this or not, but when Kristen yells down, you don't want your fish overdone.
you might want to keep an eye on the
disaster.
You might want to keep your eye on the fish because if you don't keep your eye on that fish, if you're not careful about it, it might. At which point, Ashley did one of the greatest things I've ever seen anyone do. He looked up at the gantry and went, shh, 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 and put his hand to his ear, and everyone shut up. And as they all shut up, the timer went, bing! And he just looked at them and went, mm-hmm. And they all shut up. And it was beautiful. But we often talk about the gantry just being rude and condescending.
Yep.
Tonight, the gantry went overboard.
New level.
Like, it went way too far. And I was, like, looking at it going, that's not... If I was a professional and I'm watching this, I'm going, I'm not going on there.
No.
I'm not going to have these people yell at me.
And, you know, it's kind of telling because we're getting a lot of people from overseas in this year.
We really are. And a lot of Instagram people, as we talked about the other day.
Yeah.
Couple of other little bits and pieces that we picked up while we were on there. Brendan was talking about the fact that he's always running around the kitchen.
Didn't work out so well with you, Brendan. Maybe just take a bit of Ashley's advice.
The Battle of Cobram takes no prisoners. We also need to mention Marco, who put out... Marco's tweets have been really good this year.
Yes.
And Marco pointed out one thing that I've always sort of agreed with, which is he hates the fact that everyone is contractually obligated to cheer on the person in the challenge because it's actually not in your interest for them to win. Right? It is not in your interest.
Unless they're your mate, like you're good mates with them, and even then it's kind of like, yeah, I like you, but I like $250,000 too.
Yeah, and I need a hubcap for my car. And the trophy's definitely a hubcap upgrade.
Yeah.
So don't cheer them on. Like, I don't even care if the producer goes, you've got to cheer him on. It's like, I don't want him to get a pin.
No.
You know, it was like the other week when they even sort of half cheered Sashi when he was going for that second pin. Oh, you know, I don't want him to get too much of an advantage, but I really want him to do well, and I want to see if he can get that pin because wouldn't it be great? No. The second part of that sentence was fed to you by a producer.
Yeah.
The first part of that sentence was, I don't want him to get the pin. I don't want him to have that much of an advantage.
Yes. It's like saying...
It's okay to say it's a contest. It's okay.
Yeah, you're not there for fucking shits and giggles. No one's there. I mean, you all got 10K the other night. If they said to you, you know, 10K or immunity, I'd take the 10K. But
I'd take the 10K.
but it's just the advantages. They're just shit. Yeah. My track's gone. I'm looking at I bought some chocolate from the Hunter Valley. And I got distracted.
Kristie's lost. But it's okay because it was a short episode and this is basically where it ends up. Khanh Khanh went and made duck with persimmon and ginger. Mm-hmm. Good use of ginger. Really good use of ginger.
At one point, though, it was so ginger as way for it to come out and go, girl power!
We're not all to be broken down by a Spice Girl stereotype. We are more than that.
Okay, Fanta Pants.
You are not a ginger. You cannot call another ginger a ginger.
That's why I didn't say that. He said it's okay to call you Fanta Pants.
No, I'm saying it's not. Anyway.
Okay, I don't.
So...
I have a... You know me, I actually have a weakness for redheads.
I hope so, otherwise this marriage is a bit weird.
It's... I do. I really like redheads. It's just the thing.
I'm in.
You're in.
Score.
All right. Marry.
So, let's get married. Oh, hang on.
We done
Whoops,
that.
we did that. So he made duck with persimmon and ginger. At one point, Shannon gave some very helpful advice. Khanh goes, try that. Shannon tastes it and goes, and I quote him directly here, ginger, too much ginger, too much ginger, ginger, too much ginger, too much ginger, too much ginger, ginger, yeah. It's like he obviously went a bit haywire and needed a circuit replacement and got stuck on the word ginger. Ginger, too much ginger, ginger, too much ginger, ginger, too much ginger. And they cut to an ad. No doubt so they could remove his ship and put the new one in.
Look, I understand what it's like just struggling with words because you hear me on this podcast all the time. But when you're on a internationally syndicated program and have a little meltdown, it's funny.
Probably makes you say more than ginger. And so Ashley then made John Dory with abalone.
Fancy.
He really obviously worked out. We talked about this the other day too. He mastered the idea that I'm not paying for this. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do abalone.
And I'm going to do John Dory. Well, if it's on the pantry table.
But he was trying to work out what would go well with John Dory, and his answer was abalone liver.
Well, that was to thicken the sauce.
But I just love somebody whose logic progression in terms of sauces and mixtures goes John Dory. Not just abalone, goes abalone liver.
Yes.
Why didn't I think of this sooner? I have the same quandary all the time. I'll be there cooking and going, you know what I need? You know what I need? I need bull earlobe and maybe a little bit of sheep's eardrum.
Look, it's one of those things when you know you've entered a certain postcode when you see their gourmet special is like sturgeon, what's it called? Caviar. That's like half price, and abalone.
You're being served by a woman called Jan, and you know being served by a woman called Jan?
Because she's a providor.
So they go to the judging, and Gary also did something a bit weird in judging. I know it sounds unusual to say that. Gary did something a bit weird in judging too, where he said, you know, I've already rated the first one really high, and now I need to work out what to do with the second one. And he told the others this. It's supposed to be completely, you know, no one knows what they've written down. But he turned around and goes, I've already judged one high. It's like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
Poor Khanh, because Khanh did a really good job. Ashley wins, and Ashley still wasn't having time for any of their shit.
No.
Just the whole way through, Ashley was like, I'm doing this, I'm going to have fun with it.
Do you reckon Ashley's gone to his mates? He's watched Masterchef a few times. He's like, oh, why the fuck would you do that? You're going in there, nah.
They rang him up.
These pricks need to be taught a lesson. I'm going in. I'm just going to, mic drop this shit. And he did. And it was beautiful.
And I did like Khan's mini heart attack that he had when he realised there was no ginger or spices at the first.
Yes.
There's
no aromats. And
he gave himself 15 minutes less in order to get ginger.
Yet he still produced.
Which should be, a bit of a warning to everyone else in that kitchen that Khanh legitimately is cooking beautifully at the moment.
He's a threat.
He really is a threat.
One to watch.
You know what else is a threat?
What?
Feeding Prince Charles ants.
Ew. What you got here? Ants. Oh. It's not man versus food. You haven't got... Andrew Zimmerman walking in.
They look at Prince Charles and they go, do you want to go to the Masterchef kitchen? Is that what you want? Is that really what you want, Prince Charles? You know why? Because that's how you get ants.
What a like, though, is that I'm wondering if Lizzie is like a big MasterChef Australia fan. I'd love to go on the show, but I can't. And Charles goes, don't worry, mother, I'll get onto the show. Oh, it's timing me well with the Commonwealth Games. All right, let's do this. And Camilla's like, oh, I'm not going on that thing. She barely paid attention at the Commonwealth Games. If you saw her at the opening, she's like flipping through the program.
No, Camilla's thinking free food. Camilla's just like, I'm here for the feed. Yeah. And then she found out it was an ants.
She's like, I'm out. This is all yours, Charles.
We're really looking forward to covering the royal episode because, one, it's finally the thing that the theme is based around. Can't wait till Thursday night where they do royal elimination, which I can only assume involves bloodlines.
Game of Thrones.
No. Because it's royalty week, it's got to involve haemophilia. So what we do is we cut everyone in the kitchen. And whoever's the haemophiliac is eliminated.
You can only cook you can only cook from like the countries where Queen Victoria's grandchildren went. To
be fair, that's everything. You get all of Europe. All of Europe. Your pantry is all of Europe. Now, haemophiliacs bleed. So that's not a problem. My problem is I can't stop. So just a couple of things we'll wrap up. First of all, reminder to those people, if you didn't listen to Sunday night's episode, go back and listen to it. Then go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, The Washing Up. Mm-hmm. And you can comment on the week one feed on there to try to go into the running to win our gift.
Yes, our gift, which is...
to receive our gift.
Because we need to find... We couldn't decide on chopping it up and giving it to all of our listeners.
Or just finding one lucky person.
Yes.
So it's a gift, not a prize, it's a gift. But it's all about Ungerman Brothers Ice Cream, and their gift is a signed apron by Gaston himself, Ben Ungerman, last year's runner-up for MasterChef. So get onto our Facebook page. You can only enter via Facebook, so it's very important that you do that.
And we'll even pay for the friggin' postage.
We will indeed. So it's very important as well that you listen to Sunday night's episode to find out the full details and to be able to enter. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't found it yet, today we had a lovely chat with Huda.
Oh my God, she is so sweet.
So we actually went over and sat in her lounge room and had a chat.
And she's such a lovely hostess. Like we walked in, there's like this little spread, not little, it was like a
huge,
generous spread.
It was wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a great chat about cake pops. We had a great chat about leadership.
Koftas.
And we had a great chat about koftas. And we just had this really fun time having a good conversation with someone who is genuinely hilarious, has a genuine passion for food and helping other people,
and talent and skill,
and community minded.
Absolutely.
So we really recommend going back and having a bit of a listen. It's a little bit echoey, but we're fine with it being echoey because the conversation is so good you barely notice it.
Exactly.
And unlike the MasterChef kitchen, they've got a fire alarm. Because you can hear the beep in the background.
Yes.
So go back and listen to that. I may hopefully predict that may not be the last time we get to talk to her this series. So
that'd be good too.
We've got a couple of ideas in the works there. So keep your ears open for those.
And, we've been a bit neglectful. There's a few other people that we want to talk to. We just haven't had...
We've been away on a honeymoon.
Yeah,
So there's a couple of other people that we've sort of had a few conversations with about having a chat. So there may be a few more bonus episodes popping up this month. Thank you again to everyone who's been listening. We've been having absolute amazing numbers, and that's all you.
And again, for a podcast that started because we just wanted to please ourselves.
Yeah.
We're quite
self-indulgence is better than no indulgence at all. and thank you again, especially to those people from overseas. Like, seriously, when I get messages from the Netherlands and I get messages from Norway and America and Canada and India, and we're getting messages from all over the place, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. We were considering, though, like, on our drive, we were like, okay, we've got the cities, we've got the Nash, we've got the Internash going. What about our reach?
So we did think about getting some billboards taken out.
There's some really cool billboards in the middle of but nowhere.
So we thought about that. So if you are living in a rural area of Australia, first of all, congratulations for having internet. Secondly,
and knowing about podcasts.
Secondly, and far more importantly, if you live in a rural area of Australia and there's a board down the road from you that you think we should get onto, message us. Hit us up on the Twitter. Hit us up on the Facebook. We're more than happy to listen to where people think we should take out a billboard. What we'll say on it, Who the hell knows? Probably a big finger that just says felching. So, but if you felching at the washing up, which sounds weird. So, unless you listen to the podcast. So, with that in mind, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all Thursday night.
Ciao, ciao.